Okay, thank you very much, Lisa, for joining us today. Lisa's one of our UTAS graduates who's gone through the program recently and I believe went down for the graduation. Is that right, Lisa?
Yes, I graduated from the Bachelor of Adult and Applied Learning, but I've just enrolled into the honours program.
Okay,
So I'm on my
fantastic.
second program at the moment, yes.
Okay, good. So we have someone very experienced to talk to you about the ups and downs of being a UTAS student and I guess managing the workload that's associated. So we're going to ask Lisa a few questions, and the first one being, what did you expect from studying? What did you expect studying at uni to be like? And you've obviously had lots of experience there.
Mm.
And did it compare to your expectations as a UTAS student?
Well, I'm currently course convening and teaching within a bachelor level course.
Mhm.
So the acting program I deliver and teach at TAFE Queensland is a degree level. So I suppose I've been inside that academic space for many years. So I was familiar with the academic nature of um, the education. But what I would say, this is my first experience with online learning.
Hmm.
I hadn't engaged with an online program prior, um, and I wasn't quite sure what to expect. But the online experience was actually incredibly engaging and quite intimate, which I was
Yes, good.
um, I'm not surprised. I just was excited at its potential, and especially obviously as a full-time teacher, it was a
Yes.
perfect combination. But I felt really connected to all my students and the lecturers, so it was a nice surprise actually.
Good, good. And that's it, isn't it? I guess yeah, online learning can vary greatly. So it's nice to hear that that was a good experience. And
Yeah.
I think one of the key things is that we use the same platform. So D2L is the same as Connect and Milo. So I think that's good for us, isn't it, as educators to see what you can
Yeah,
do with the
and
platform as
there was
well.
a noticeable difference between, say, the business units that I engaged with and the educational units,
Right,
as far as the interactivity and use of all the different options, technological options. So
great.
obviously, the educational units were very social, probably
Good.
more so than some of the business units, which were a little bit dry. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And it's hard to engage online, so it's lovely to hear,
Mm,
that it was social and interactive. Okay, thank
mm.
you. Okay, so the second question we have is one aim of the applied learning courses is that you should be able to use the learning material immediately in your role as an educator. So have you been able to apply your learnings to your classroom setting?
Oh, 100%. I mean, pretty much every single assessment um, in all the units were designed or are designed to reflect on your own practice, critique your practice, and obviously improve your practice. So I'm just constantly reflecting on my practice and finding ways to improve it on a day-to-day basis in practice.
Yeah.
So that the assessment was very carefully designed. And
Yes.
obviously, that is just a good way of approaching assessment, obviously, in teaching and learning. But as a full-time teacher, you're satisfying two objectives there. I can
Yes.
keep continuing my work, but also using my study and all the literature um,
Yes.
straight away into onto the floor with my students.
Yeah.
And I find myself having chats because I'm the course convener. I'm looking after a staff of 10 casual lecturers, so I often have chats with them in the office about what I'm doing and around my studies and things I've changed in my teaching and whatnot.
Oh, that's great. That's really good to hear. And yeah, I guess on those two levels, it's not just with the student interaction, but just yeah, sharing that with your colleagues. So that's yeah, a really big benefit. So thank you. Okay, so our third question we're going to ask Lisa is if someone said they were thinking of doing the UTAS course or a UTAS course, what would you say to them, or would you recommend them going forward?
Oh, absolutely. Um, I think the main thing, I mean, the lecturers are fantastic. The students have been very supportive, and obviously there's many students on the South Bank campus where I teach, so they're not far away either. You know, meeting up for a coffee or to discuss assignments or just a general chat. Um, the course has given me a lot of more confidence too. Um, you know, I think especially at TAFE, where we're employed as industry,
Yes.
experts. So,
Mm.
I've had a full career with my performing arts practice, um, and have been teaching for 20 years.
Yes.
But up until I started teach UTAS in 2013,
Hmm.
I had never done any formal educational training other than the Cert 4s and assessment and training.
Sure.
So it has reinforced my practice up until that point.
Hmm.
We kind of learn as we go, and
Yes.
especially in the performing arts, you teach as you've been taught. So, my style, my aesthetic, my philosophy, my methodology is very much influenced from my teachers in the performing arts. But when we're dealing with, a degree level education, which involves an enormous amount of literature, reading, analysis, you know, um, uh, this educational training has been absolutely paramount. And it's, like I said, reinforced what I already know and what I have already been doing as a teacher, but also pushing me much further and providing me the space to be a lot more critical. I mean, I hold myself to account every day now. I can't
Yeah.
help it. We're learned to hold ourselves to account, and you should, no matter what you do.
Yes.
And also, it was quite amazing timing because TAFE Queensland partnered with the University of Canberra in 2013, which was around about the time I enrolled in the course, and we had to basically write our degree programs from scratch. So I headed a staff of 10 casuals, and we wrote the bachelor degree from scratch. This is the Bachelor of Acting and Performance, which
Hmm.
involved obviously, learning outcomes, marking criteria, lectures, blah, blah, blah. So again, it was perfect timing because it just put me inside that critical headspace, and I could actually, do my job at TAFE. Um, so
That's incredible. I had no
yeah,
clue that you had done that with that program. It's very
yes,
interesting finding out what everyone's done, and I
yeah,
think that's a wonderful point that you've made. I think there's so many wonderful industry professionals, but we do choose this as a career. It is our second
mm,
career in education, so
mm,
formalising that is really important. So
mm.
I think you've answered that question beautifully. So thank you very much. Okay, and lastly, what advice would you give to someone who's considering enrolling and managing their time and workload or study load?
Well, I know when I first
Tough one.
started, I was teaching full time, and I enrolled in 2 units. Now that was hard. That was difficult. I mean, I obviously had to spend, 14 hours a day every Saturday and Sunday to, get through the units. I think I kept that up for maybe 2 semesters, and then I decided I would only engage in 1 unit a semester,
Hmm.
which would give me. I mean, I tend not to work at night because I'm just much better during the day. So I would allow pretty much, 2 full days, Saturday, Sunday, just for the 1 unit. But really, it depends how thorough you want to engage with the study and the level of achievement you want to, as far as how much you can take on. I mean, I could probably get away with doing 2 units a semester, but I didn't want to. I wanted to actually take my time and actually enjoy the study and do as
Yes,
thorough a job as I could. But
yes,
because of that, it's taken me, this is my 8th year of study. When you're only doing 1 unit a semester,
yes.
it prolongs the
Doesn't it?
the
Yes,
finishing line. But then, I'm in no rush really, and
yes.
I'd rather enjoy it and not squeeze the most out of it. So
Yes, I think that's a really key point, and that's something I'm getting from doing these sessions is that I think the people that really do enjoy the study and apply it probably more effectively are the ones like yourself who are doing one unit. So
Mm.
I think that's really good
I
advice.
think two is possible, but it's obviously you can't put as much time into
Yes,
both. I mean, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And is there anything in general you'd like to share with people who are considering studying? Is there any other advice or anything you want to add?
Um, it just, I mean, studying in general, just reading in general, really keeps you alert
Hmm.
and critically active. And
Yes.
I did, I finished my bachelor and took, I think, 1 year off,
Hmm.
and then have just this, what are we in for now? Last year I started my honours. But I must say, in that year off, it was great. I mean, I could read all the books I wanted to read finally, but
Hmm.
I do quite like doing just the one unit alongside my teaching because it just
Yes.
keeps me sharp. I can't explain it.
Yeah, okay, that's good
Um,
advice.
yeah.
Well, good
uh,
advice for some, maybe, not for everybody.
but I think maybe the ideal thing is do a little bit of study, stop, have a break, do another year of study, stop, have a break. Because we talk about lifelong learning, and I think
Absolutely.
there's a lot of it's so important.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
but I mean, the most fantastic point is that it is aligned to our teaching, so it doesn't feel
Yes.
like a chore. It really is very effective.
Yeah, great.
And I
Oh,
think,
that's
and the
wonderful.
units are so well designed. I mean,
Hmm.
I really enjoy John and Jill. I think they're fantastic, and
Yes.
you can feel their dedication and their
Yeah,
care for their
absolutely.
education. No, it comes through. So,
Yes. Yeah, I
um,
agree.
mm, mm.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you very much. It's been lovely just to have to hear your insights and to share those, and I think that'll make a big impact. So yeah, thank you very much for your time today.
Oh, thanks, Michelle. And sorry about the wobbly start.
It's okay. It's technology.
Yes, oh
Bye
well.
bye.
Okay.